Hello there, this is Lena Benjamin from Benjamin Property Services. You are on the live webinar series, the London Property Investing Strategy. I'm going to be going through one of the property strategies in this live webinar. If you just bear with me, I am just about to make sure that we are all go here, and making sure that the video is able to go here. So let's go and get this going. Okay, so as I was saying, this is the live webinar series, and I am your host on this webinar, Lena Benjamin, founder and consultant at Benjamin Property Services and Property Business Club. Now, here we go. Okay, so as I was saying before, this is the London Property Investment Strategies, and these are the actual investment strategies that we are going to be going throughout the course of the webinars. As you can see, the first one was the Buy, Renovate, Rent, Refinance, which was in January, which can be watched on the website. You can download it there on benjaminpropertyservices.co.uk. We then went on to serviced accommodation, which was in February. Now today we're doing house of multiple occupants, which is this month, as in March. And the next one is student accommodation in April, nursing homes, which may be changed in May. And the sixth one is the corporate housing, co-living type of strategy, London Property Investment Strategy in June. And then we'll be going on to mixed use in July. And then in September, we will be going through the Buy, Refurb, Flip London Property Investment Strategy. So, as I was saying, we are going to be doing the House of Multiple Occupants, so that's HMO strategy. And just to give you a bit more information about us at Benjamin Property Services, so the value we bring is over 10 years of landlord, real estate agent and global PLC multidisciplinary engineering consultancy experience, working collaboratively with other experienced property professionals to deliver UK property purchases for cash flow, profit or equity. Now, the property services that we offer are off-market search and acquisition, project managing refurbishment and or structural changes, and area tours for property purchases. Now, we source and negotiate the property purchase of the real estate on behalf of entrepreneurs, executives and enterprises worldwide. Now, with a particular focus on the London and Kent areas within the United Kingdom. Now, going back to this House of Multiple Occupants, the HMO. Now, for the opportunity, and just to give you a view of what House of Multiple Occupants is, for those who may not know, a House of Multiple Occupation or a House of Multiple Occupancy is a British English term which refers to residential properties where common areas exist and are shared by more than one household. Now, most HMOs have been subdivided from larger houses designed for and occupied by one family. So that will give you an indication as in the type of opportunity. So instead of renting out to one family, which only limits your cash flow to one single let, a HMO is a great opportunity to subdivide the family home or a family home, a large family home, into more than one rooms and more than one household in order to capitalize on the opportunity for the lets of those particular rooms and the rental income from those particular rooms. So now the type of property that we're looking at, as we were saying here, is the larger house. So a 3 to 4 bedroom freehold house or freehold property. So not leasehold, a freehold, where you own the whole of the property and it is not managed by a freeholder. So you are the freeholder and not the leaseholder. So you need to own the whole of the property. So that's the type of properties we would go out and source for you off market, and making sure that we negotiate with the legal property owner, freehold property owner, face to face as part of the off market property search and acquisition. Now, this type of opportunity is great for a corporate or a company housing opportunity, whereby you can buy the property through our services, and you can then operate the business, the new business, because a HMO is a business, property is a business. So you can actually rent out those rooms to your employees and your other key stakeholders, thereby ensuring that you are not only having an asset there, which is a long-term asset for you, which can be sold at a future date. We'll come back onto that. We'll come into that story later on. But you'll also have an opportunity to have housing for your employees. As you know, the London and Kent areas has a housing shortage, so you'd be obviously that'd be an opportunity for you as a business, as a company, as a corporate, for your employees. And so we'll get on to the tax efficiency of that. But that is an opportunity for those who don't have a company to actually create a company out of a house of multiple occupants. Investment strategy in London, and it's an opportunity to diversify your investment portfolio, particularly if you want to create income streams from various different sources. And as a business person, it's always great to utilize real estate as an opportunity to diversify your investment portfolio. And HMO, a house of multiple occupation, is a great opportunity to do so. Coming on to the cash flow management, great opportunity as well. So if your other investment portfolios, whether you own a business or you have other investment portfolios in wine or art or whatever the case may be, this is an opportunity to cash in with this particular opportunity and enable and increase your balance sheet in terms of cash flow management. Again, this is an opportunity for you to have an asset at the end of it, and this is part of your asset accumulation and wealth building opportunity, so that you can actually add it to your portfolio as well. Now, this is a great tax efficiency point of view in terms of, and I am not a financial expert in this regard, but there is, if you go to your IFA, your independent financial advisor or wealth management company, I'm sure they would agree that this is a tax efficient opportunity as well, particularly if you own a company and you can offset the expenses from the actual running of the HMO, the house of multiple occupants, particularly if you're renting out to your employees or obviously other people, is a tax efficient way of being able to reduce your corporation tax there as well. But as I say, I'm not a financial advisor. You'd have to go to your financial advisor, wealth management company, in order to verify that in advance. There's also, obviously, coming to the last point, the exit strategy for this particular house of multiple occupants. So not only is it a cash flowing opportunity, it's asset accumulation, it's tax efficient, but there is an asset at the end of it that you can sell through an exit strategy. So once you've finished developing this particular business, you may want to sell it off to another business owner, business associate, etc., as part of your exit strategy in 5 to 10 years' time, or whatever that might be in terms of your exit strategy, which we'll probably discuss with your financial advisor. Now, just coming back onto, in particular, Property Business Club. Now, this is a UK real estate wealth with online membership. So those of you who do not want to take on our off-market property search and acquisition service, you can do it yourself. And this is an opportunity for you to do so. It's a a product or a service within the umbrella of Benjamin Property Services, and it allows you to have access to actionable content, which you can access online and get the various different resources that you need to in order to grow a property portfolio within the UK. And you also get off-market deal property alerts sent to your email, or they will be posted online, probably to your email, once you become a member. And you also get service discounts to the 3 different services that we offer in predominantly in off-market property search and acquisition, which is our main service. You'll get discounts off of the area tours, and you'll also get discounts off of the what's the other one? The refurbishments and the structural changes, so project managing those particular aspects, and you'll get service discounts on there, becoming a member of the Property Business Club. Now, the Property Business Club has 2 different plans that you can access this membership benefits. One is the monthly plan, and the second one is the annual plan. Now, the annual plan in particular includes 2 hours of online real estate mentorship. So you can be anywhere in the world, and if you want to build up your UK real estate wealth, it can be done online. And also, obviously, you have an opportunity to get mentored online, which will be done via a Zoom or Skype. And that's 2 hours per month with the annual plan. Now, in terms of costing wise, it's from just £49, and payment is taken securely with Stripe using a credit or debit card online. Now, you can join and sign into your account via benjaminpropertyservices.co.uk/PBC. Now, coming back to the House of Multiple Occupants, the HMO strategy, the London Property Investment Strategy webinar here live, is securing the property. Now, you can JV with us as your partner to actually establish this opportunity of investing in a HMO, or just adding to your existing portfolio of property. So you can become a client by going to benjaminpropertyservices.co.uk/new client to access our off-market property search and acquisition service, whereby we actually go out and search for those properties off market, directly negotiated with the property owner. Now, you would want to, when securing the property, if you're going to be doing it by yourself, is to review the areas of interest. And those areas of interest must have the various different opportunities around the area that would indicate that professionals would like to live in a house of multiple occupants. So you would want to make sure that if you're going into the London areas, that you're looking at the local authority, which is local government, and which areas are looking at those opportunities with a landlord that can actually develop the area, as well as providing the housing needs for that community. So with the local authority, you'd be able to find out about the licensing required to have the house of multiple occupants. Now, I've always gone straight to the local authority and asked them to come around to the property just to assess the property. That back then you didn't need a license, or you may not have needed a license to do a HMO, but nowadays you definitely need a license to carry out a house of multiple occupants. To have more than one occupation, or more than one household, you need a license from the local authority, local government in the UK, in order to operate as a licensor of a house of multiple occupants, and that's payable to the local authority. And I would suggest you go and speak to them and make sure that they are on board with that, and that the house that you're going to be looking at, or the area that you're going to be looking at, is fit for purpose. Now, as I said before, we secure if you become a JV partner of ours and want to access our off-market property search and acquisition, we secure directly with the owner, and I would suggest you do so as well to avoid any external resources that, or people that you don't want to be in with this particular opportunity. It's always best to securely look at investing directly with the property owner. And when it comes to actually securing the property and you've got the access to the owner, then you'd obviously want to put some kind of agreement in place with the actual tenants. And either that will be a company let or a common law agreement, or some kind of agreement whereby they are renting a room from you. So we're going to go on to the next one, which is about finance and construction. So in terms of this, in terms of a house of multiple occupants, London investing strategy webinar here with Benjamin Property Services, your host Lena Benjamin, is to look at a mortgage broker or a JV finance. So your mortgage broker will be able to look at the house of multiple occupants. They will probably look at something like a commercial mortgage for you with this particular opportunity, but there may be, obviously higher fees, but you'd have to speak to your mortgage broker about that. Or you can get a JV finance partner, peer-to-peer, if you know many H&Ws, or you are part of a funded organisation looking to explore opportunities to increase your portfolio within your own business. You may have seed or funding. You might be at Series A or Series B or whatever the series funding you are at, and they are able to give you access to the financing you need in order to actually gain access to the money needed to acquire the property. You may have already have company finances already that you can extract out of that as well. So in order to actually purchase the property, or at least put loan to value, if you're going to go to a mortgage broker, you might have a loan to value, it might be a loan to value of 85%, and you've already got the 15% through company finances or a JV partner. Then, of course, you want to make sure that there is the planning permission. We mentioned that in the previous slide when it comes to going to the local authority and making sure that they are on board with the conversions of any properties, of any large properties in the area to convert into a house of multiple occupants. And then you want to make sure that when you find this particular property, and if you do so through us at Benjamin Property Services, off-market property search and acquisition service, and you can, as you say, go to benjaminpropertyservices.co.uk/new client to become a new client. You want to look at the conversion of the rooms there and what can be done. And to make sure that the rooms downstairs that have maybe a couple of living quarters or areas, or reception rooms I should say, that can be converted into rooms. And you'll want to look at the upstairs and make sure that there is at least 2 or 3 bedrooms upstairs, or 3 or 4 actually, if it's going to be a large family home that you're converting into a HMO, that there's 3 or 4 bedrooms that can be converted, as well as downstairs that there is that 2 reception rooms that can also be potentially converted into bedrooms, or at least one of the rooms can be converted, one of the reception rooms can be converted into a room, so that you can maybe have a shared living room area for your tenants to congregate in. Obviously, if you can actually convert some of those rooms into an ensuite, and then obviously upstairs there would need to be a shared bathroom, but downstairs there would need to probably be a WC, a toilet downstairs, but the shared bathroom needs to be big enough in order to accommodate, and then would need to be a separate WC upstairs as well. And that you can see about, as I was saying, converting some of those rooms into an ensuite, depending on how big this family home is. Now you want to make sure the kitchen is a relatively big one as well. and that there is room for, depending on how many tenants there are and households there are, as we've looked at in terms of the terminology of a HMO, that there is, sufficient room for the fridge, freezers, a couple of microwaves or a microwave, maybe a dishwasher, and the oven as well, and make sure the furnishings and amenities are fresh and up to date, and have all of the different furnishings needed in a because you're not going to be furnishing it in a way that you would furnish a family home. It would be making sure that the furnishings and amenities are durable, and they are at a standard that you don't need to get them renewed. Making sure that the boiler is sufficient. I always recommend a Valiant or a Worcester boiler, and make sure that you have all of the various different tests done with the electrical safety in terms of Part P, and making sure that gas is, I'm not sure which part of that is in terms of the building regulations, but the gas is obviously made sure that it is assessed on a regular basis, yearly, making sure that it's done yearly. So that is all very needed within the HMO or any property that you're actually making sure that you are taking over. So making sure that everything is as is, and all of the insurances and everything is in place, and making sure that it's constructed in such a way that the electrical, the gas, and other various different elements of the building are done effectively. And as I say, we can project manage those aspects because of our experiences in terms of as landlords, and also as in terms of the understanding of how you have to construct it in a way that it's better for the community and the actual visual aspects of the actual area as well. So we cover London and Kent areas and other parts of the UK, in particular London and Kent areas, because that's where we've invested. We're in the London Borough of Bromley. So as you can see there on the right-hand side, there's a map of the UK, and Bromley is in the black dot in the area of the right of the UK there. Now the London areas, there are, let me see now, 33 London boroughs. We can count there on the left-hand side of the London boroughs there, including the City of London, and we cover the majority of those areas, in particular Bromley, Greenwich, Lambeth, Southwark, Wandsworth. We also cover the City of London, Westminster, Kensington and Chelsea, and Ealing in particular, but we and Hackney as well, and also Islington, so, and Camden, but we can cover other areas, and going out further into Havering, Hillingdon, and Hounslow, and obviously we do Richmond as well, and Kingston, but there are the other areas that we can cover as well. So in terms of marketing your HMO, if you're doing this with us and you've secured our services in terms of the off-market property acquisition, search and acquisition, you can get us to do an open house for you through the Benjamin Property Services, and the open house would be £500, which is all shown in the agreement should you become a client of ours, but we can actually do that on your behalf and make sure that the property is closed and you have the occupants are signed up there and then at this open house. You might have to have 2 or 3 open houses, and the open house is a sort of a North American term that allows you to actually showcase the actual rooms, put a sign up, get going in terms of an event, doing the flyers, making sure that people know about this particular property and that there are rooms available, and making sure that you're connecting with companies that would potentially want to have housing for their employees. If you're not doing it as a company let or a company opportunity that houses your own employees, you may want to make sure that you actually have this open house to encourage companies who have employees that need residents, basically. But you can also do this by yourself and have the online rental agent. There are plenty on now online with the new aspects of property technology merged into one, and that you can have those different online rental agents to actually secure you the house of multiple occupants tenants. You can also develop your own website if this is a standalone business, and you can ask us to create that, and you can speak to us here at Benjamin Property Services. We'll come on to the contact details in a minute, but you can go to benjaminpropertyservices.co.uk to access us. You can, as I was talking about before, go to the key stakeholders directly if this is a company housing project, and you've got your key stakeholders that you can market to. That's the employees, the general community, your investors, your other supply chain. If they're coming in from outside of the UK and they want to stay there, they know that you have now got this property and that they can stay there depending on who's in the property. So you might want to have one spare room for those types of people to come and stay in the property. Once you know that you've covered the mortgage and everything, and there's a nice cash flow there, you may be able to just keep one of the rooms available for a key stakeholder like an investor or other type of contact that you might want to, they might want to have that room there on a 3-month basis, and you might want to put that on an Airbnb or whatever in order to get a good monthly income from that particular room. And our other stuff in terms of the house of multiple occupants, the HMO, is about getting paid. And obviously if it's a housing, if it's a company project and it's through, getting paid through your employees, obviously you can take it directly from their salary, and that you're getting paid into your, bank account there. And obviously you can put, if it's as a standalone project, you can put a standing order in place with their bank. And this would all be done, if it is a standalone project, through the open house process. If you were to choose us to secure the property on your behalf, we'll put a standing order in place with their bank, and they would get their banking details once they've signed up and they've signed up to the agreement. And we've got a security deposit, and we then put a standing order in place to make sure that you get paid on that monthly basis directly into your bank account there. But you can obviously do the same thing and put a standing order in place yourselves and make sure that you're getting paid from the tenants. Now you're going to make sure that you've got the maintenance and cleaning going, and with the HMO it's all about making sure that the entire aspects of running the property is on a one single payment. Basically they only pay one single payment that covers them for the electricity, gas, cleaning, etc., etc. So all amenities are provided, potentially not the linen, but you might want to provide that as part of that process as well. And it will be one figure that you might want to charge, or you will be charging. So that might be about, in London you're looking at between £600 and £900 per room. So the cleaning fee would go into that. So you need to get a cleaner to do that, and make sure that there is a cleaner on hand on a weekly basis to ensure that the property is clean and tidy, and that they don't essentially have to do it themselves. but there is something there that would entice them to become a tenant of this particular property when they know that there is a cleaner as well, and that you're including that in the price as well. And you might want to have a property manager there as part of the process, or you may be the property manager yourself because this is a standalone project. So that is the other stuff, but there will be other stuff that you might want to think about as well, but that will give you a clear, concise understanding about the other stuff involved with the House of Multiple Occupation, the London property investing strategy, part of the Benjamin Property Services webinar series. So just going on to the opportunities that is amenable to you as a business person, going into an opportunity to introduce people, business contacts for a passive 5-figure income a month. Now, you may have access to a business contact or a property investor with the financial means in order to purchase UK property for their portfolio. If they're diversifying, if they want to increase their opportunities in the UK, and they want to expand into the UK, they have a business and they want to expand into the UK, and you have these access to these property investors or business contacts. There could be a high growth entrepreneur who's looking to expand into the UK, or a family office, or just a home person who wants to relocate into the UK. If you know these types of people, and you can actually gain opportunity to introduce for a passive 5-figure income a month, particularly if they go on to secure other properties. So the financial opportunity is a 20% commission. New clients pay £1,000, which is refunded from the 1.5% commission on the first negotiated property purchase through our off-market property search and acquisition service. So out of the 1.5% commission that we gain from the first negotiated property purchase, you would get 20% from that. So for instance, if the negotiated property purchase is negotiated around £1 million, you get £3,000, which is passive because you haven't had to do anything. You have just introduced this particular client, and they have then gone on to secure our services, and they paid their £1,000, which is refunded from the 1.5% commission on the first negotiated property purchase, and you get 20% of our 1.5% commission, which in the instance of £1 million is you get 3,000. Now, should they go on to find out and want to go on to and utilize our services again, they actually want us to actually purchase a property on their behalf, off market on their behalf, you get those commissions for a 12-month period, which is great, and that's what it can account to the 5-figure income a year. So if it's just one property, for example, and it's negotiated, or a portfolio of properties as part of this negotiated property purchase, and it equates to 10 million pounds of property, negotiated property purchase, you get 30,000, which is a great, from one deal, which is great for you, which is passive 5-figure income that you're gaining there. So both new clients and introducers can sign up at benjaminpropertyservices.co.uk. There is digital signing, there is online payment, there is the ability to be able to get we'll come on to the actual comprehensive property ports in a minute, but everything is done online. The platform is done so that it can secure opportunities from not only the UK, but also people outside of the UK who want to invest in the UK going forward as a long-term property and business investment. Now, just a review of the House of Multiple Occupants, we went on through the opportunity and the opportunity for cash flow, the opportunity to convert existing larger properties into smaller households in order to capitalize on the cash flow there. We talked about securing the property and doing so off market and utilizing our services as off-market property search and acquisition service at benjaminpropertyservices.co.uk/new client, but also for you to do so on a off-market basis directly with the legal owner, and which types of areas that you should look into. We should look at the finance and the construction in terms of going through a mortgage broker, in terms of utilizing company finances, in terms of going to a VC, a venture capitalist, or if you already got venture capitalists involved in your business, then utilizing their monies in order to do so. And then we talked about the marketing of the property. If it's a standalone venture, then obviously we can actually showcase the property on your behalf as an open house opportunity, but you might want to do that yourselves. And in fact, through the Property Business Club, we showcase an opportunity to be able to do an open house as part of the resources, the number of resources there are available through the Property Business Club online membership to be able to do that as well. There was also the other stuff that you would look into in terms of getting paid and a property manager for this particular London property investing strategy webinar series with Benjamin Property Services, your host Lena Benjamin, myself. You can go to benjaminpropertyservices.co.uk to get started. Now, in terms of how we work is about looking at the real estate strategy, which is a driven strategy and a driven approach. And we are focused on your strategy, the strategy, if it is a house of multiple occupants. We look at the brief that you provided online, which is at benjaminpropertyservices.co.uk/new client. We negotiate and look at, once you become a client, having that portfolio or that property within 3 months and making sure that it's secured. You've got the investor, it's let out, or it's sold within that 3 months, or at least that it's being acquired in that 3 months, so that you can actually start to generate some income from this particular property. Or if it's a home, then obviously that it's been negotiated below market value so that you've got equity in there. So it's going to be a long-term investment. You're going to want to put some aspects to it and make sure that it's developed in a way and to your taste. And so we do that within 3 months, and we acquire the property for you within 3 months. We do that and showcase, once you've commissioned us to do this, we provide comprehensive property reports. And we make sure, as I was saying, negotiate purchases on your behalf. We look to, if there's a number of properties that you want us to source, we have other property finders that we tap into. That's where the other property professionals come in. And we make sure that we work with the legal representative to close deals. So making sure that all the due diligence is done and making sure that we have negotiated the property deal on your behalf with a legal representative, making sure that everything is signed, sealed and delivered and securely bought from the legal owner and is directly owned by you at the end of that. We project manage the refurbishment or structural changes, and obviously you might have your own building company so that you can do that yourselves, but we can project manage on your behalf. We will make sure that the property is ready for occupancy as part of that process. And also we can arrange an open house should you want us to do that on your behalf. So making sure that the property is cash flowing, particularly if this is a house of multiple occupants and it's a standalone project, or you're adding to your existing portfolio, would make sure that the property is let to the right tenants in the right way through this open house process. Now, we work for you as part of the process of the off-market property acquisition search and acquisition service. So we work for you, unlike estate agents who work on behalf of the seller or the landlord. We work for you as the investor. So we want to empower your property investing, whether it's flipping or relocation goals, with a focused property sourcing service in the UK, specifically London and Kent. And as I say, it is delivered by an experienced team. Now, if you want to get started on the property search and acquisition service, the registration form is at benjaminpropertyservices.co.uk/new client. You can also schedule in a consultation free of charge, no matter where you are in the world. And that is done online or by international dial-in. And that can be scheduled at benjaminpropertyservices.co.uk/schedule. You can go on to benjaminpropertyservices.co.uk and you can click somewhere on the screen. It might say to book a call. You can book a call there and you can schedule there. And it allows you, the scheduling tool allows you to be able to add in other people on the call via online or via the international dial-in process. So up to 10 people can actually come onto the call if you need others to be present on the call, and it's for up to about half an hour. And we can go through the actual strategy, this HMO strategy, or any other strategy that you're looking to do, or just to consult about the London Kent areas, the UK in general, and we can even go through the actual registration form at benjaminpropertyservices.co.uk/new client on your behalf, without you having to complete the form. We can complete it with you on that consultation call. Now you can get in touch with me, Lena Benjamin, founder and consultant at Benjamin Property Services and Property Business Club, at Lena B at benjaminpropertyservices.co.uk, or you can go on to visit the website benjaminpropertyservices.co.uk, and you can go on to /contact-us. You can telephone UK switchboard, client switchboard line, which is 44208 720 6460, or if you're calling from the UK, 0208 720 6460. You can call mobile, which is on international dialing, 447-591 412 400. That's also on Telegram and FaceTime or iMessage. So if you've got an iPhone, then you can go through there. And if you're on Telegram, you can actually connect via that process as well, or you can call directly on international 447-591 412 400. If you're calling from the UK, then it is on 07591 412 400. And all of that information is online at benjaminpropertyservices.co.uk/contact-us. So that is the end of webinar 3 on the House of Multiple Occupants. I hope that has been of interest to you. If you do have any questions, you can send them through to Lena B at benjaminpropertyservices.co.uk, or you can email info@benjaminpropertyservices.co.uk as well. Thank you for joining, if you have joined, and if you haven't, then we're going to be sending the actual presentation, this particular webinar, to those who did register, and we'll also put it online as well for those to download the actual presentation. Thanks for joining this particular call, and I hope to see you on the next one.